Hi everyone. So for today, we will be talking about the trifecta of email authentication. But before we start, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Denice and I am currently living in the Philippines. And I've been in cybersecurity for almost a year now. I think the first year would be my anniversary in cyber is next month, if I can recall that right. So, quick background on how I got in cybersecurity. First year of pandemic, I was listening to this podcast on Spotify. It's called Darknet Diaries. I think most of you know about it. And after hearing all the episodes, one episode stuck with me, which is the Shamun by Chris Kobeka. And I got really inspired with her story. And after that, I got in touch with her and asked her the things I should do for me to be in cybersecurity. Then I took those steps and I took different courses, especially online, and the tutorials because there's a lot of videos, tutorials that you can find that are related to cybersecurity. So I took those free videos, and after a year, I was still studying, and year 2021 I got a job in cyber. So someone took a chance on me. So if you are you are trying to get into cyber, do not give up because this field is really interesting and sometimes it gets really frustrating. But again, don't give up. I think I had 200 job applications until one company or one person said, "Okay, let's get you in." But before cybersecurity, I was working in software testing. So I worked there for I think 7 to 8 years, if that's right. Then moved to cybersecurity. So and another things about me. So I'm a spokesperson of my dog. So no one in our family is the spokesperson. It's only me and no one else. And a huge fan of drinking water. All right. Okay, let's get to the agenda. So for today, we will be talking about SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, why they matter, and the online resources you can use to check if these three things are implemented in your company. Right. First, we will start with SPF. So SPF is Sender Policy Framework. SPF was made to avoid forgery of sender's information or sender address. It's a TXT record that you publish in your DNS server. It also lets you configure IP addresses or third-party services that can send in your behalf. It lets you protect from cyber criminals trying to spoof your domain. And if you have this in place, it will likely lessen your email to be marked as a spam. So how does SPF work? For example, here I have Dave's company. So at Dave's company, I have published my SPF record in my DNS server. So example, someone sends an email outside my organization, and the recipient mail server will receive that email and will perform a check if this SPF record matches the one that I published in my DNS server. If it matches, the recipient will receive the email. And if it fails, what happens if it fails? So it will fall into spam or it will be rejected. So what does SPF look like? So SPF record looks like this. So this is a TXT record, again, a TXT record that you publish in your DNS server. So we have here the V is equals to SPF1. This is the standard one. And you cannot change this, or else it won't be read. This is what everyone uses. And the IP4 is the list of IP addresses, again, that can send in behalf of your domain. And the third-party services, it could be the marketing services that your company use. And the dash already means reject all emails that do not match the SPF record. So there are other mechanisms when it comes to SPF. We'll discuss it in a bit. So here are the different mechanisms that you can use for your SPF. We have here the pass, soft fail, and hard fail. And the soft fail just means suspicious emails are not really rejected, but please put it in quarantine or spam folder. And the hard fail, again, this is the reject. This is the one that we discussed in the previous slide. So this means reject all emails that are not authorized to send in my organization's behalf. And the pass just means accept all emails even if that host is not allowed to send in behalf of us. So I do not really recommend this at all, because you're just letting everyone to pretend to be you. So that's for SPF. Next one we have is the DKIM. So DKIM or DKIM, domain case identified mail. So this method also allows us to know if the message was altered during transit. So we all know in cybersecurity, we have the CIA triad. We have the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So domain keys identified mail fulfills the integrity part of the CIA triad. So it makes sure that the data has not been tampered or altered during transit and during if it's stored. Okay. So DKIM allows you to add a DKIM signature to your header. So how does DKIM work? It works like this. So for example, when you send an email, the server generates a hash encrypted with a private key and a corresponding public key that is published in your DNS server. So the private key is only available and accessible to you. And once the recipient mail server receives that email, the recipient mail server will look up the sender's public key that you publish in your DNS server. And the recipient mail server will verify if it matches the one that you publish. Once it does, it will use that key to decrypt the signature. And lastly, the receiving mail server will generate a hash based from the email received and will compare if the two hashes match. So you have the decrypted hash and the freshly generated hash from the email that you received. So you have two things here for DKIM. You verified that they are who they say they are, and you have verified that the message or the email was not altered during transit. Okay, so what does DKIM look like? DKIM looks like this. These are the required tags for DKIM signature, but there are also other optional tags you can use when you generate or when you include DKIM signature to your organization. We have here the V is equals to 1. This is always the version So again, once you change this, it won't be read. And the A means the algorithm used to generate the signature. So most organizations use this algorithm, the RSA SHA-256. And the D just means the domain of the sender. And the S is the selector record name to locate the public key in the DNS. And the H, this is the header fields, the list of header fields. And the BH is the body hash. And the B is this is the actual signature of the content for both headers and body. So for the DKIM signature, this is the heart of it. All right. So we'll proceed to the DMARC. What is DMARC? So DMARC is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. So DMARC policy started appearing in the year of 2012, and it instructs the receiving mail server how they should process the emails from that domain should they fail the SPF and DKIM, or if SPF and DKIM are not aligned. And the email will undergo depending on the DMARC policy that you have set. So later we will discuss the policies for DMARC and how they can fit in your organization. So DMARC also has reports including on how your domain is being used. This also includes reports from malicious actors or cyber criminals pretending to be you. So these reports are generated every day. You can use them to, again, monitor how your domain is doing. And from there, you can check and set different policies that can suit your organization. Okay, next slide. All right, for this slide, so DMARC checks if the DKIM signature or SPF record are aligned and if they match what you have published. So, for example, SPF record is failing, but the DKIM signature is passed. What happens there? So it depends on your organization if you want them quarantined, none, or reject. So these are the policies for DMARC. So if they match, so if they are all aligned, the recipient will receive the email. And if not, again, the receiving mail server will decide what to do based on the DMARC policy that you have set. So DMARC policy looks like this. V is the version. Again, this is what everyone uses. This is the only version, I think, for now. And here, this is the policy. So you have quarantine, none, and reject. So for quarantine, if the DMARC authentication fails, it tells the receiving mail server to quarantine the email. The none, no action taken, the email will still be delivered, and it depends on how the receiving mail server filters this. For example, you do not have DMARC policy in place. It is up to the mailbox providers on what they should do. It depends on their filters. And for reject unauthorized emails. And the PCT here this is the percentage. You can set it to either 25%, 50, or 100. So percentage is 100. Here in this policy is 100% quarantine, none, and reject. And the RUA, this is where the reports are being sent. So this is again daily. So you'll see how your domain is being used. So I think as of now, you are wondering if your organization has this in place, or if your organization have set all these three things. And if not, we'll discuss the different tools checker you can use so that you can let your security team know that, hey, we do not use this. We do not have this in place. We do not have SPF record in place, DKIM and DMARC. And let them know what will happen if you do not have this in place. Okay. So I have here the three tools I use for SPF record generator and the DKIM record generator. So for example, I use the MX Toolbox for SPF record lookup. Example here, I have google.com. I check the google.com, and Google has the SPF in place, but it's in soft fail. Next, this is the SPF record generator. Again, you can let your security team know about this. Or you can check after this slide or after this presentation if your domain has this in place. And this is the DKIM record generator. You can use this for generating a DKIM signature for your organization. You can also use this for DKIM lookup. And here we have the DMARC record generator. So you just include the domain or host name, and you can check the DMARC record. Another good thing about MX Toolbox is they instruct you on how to create a DMARC record. So they have different set of questions here. How do you want mail that fails DMARC to be treated by recipient? This is again the quarantine or reject. It depends again on your organization. And the email addresses should aggregate DMARC reports sent to. And this is again the reports that's being generated every day. And here the suggestion of MX Toolbox. So they suggest on what you can include in your DMARC. So Google's current record is this one. So reject. And again, you can use this for your organization. Hopefully, you can tell your security team that, hey, we have these different tools that we can use for our organization to have our email from preventing of being spoofed. All right. Okay, I think that's it. So you can contact me here, and thank you everyone for watching this quick presentation. I hope you learned something from this talk and how these three methods work together to combat spoofing and protecting your domain. Okay, you can contact me here if you have questions. And here are the online resources I have used. So you can screenshot this slide and use this.